India is a distinct and practically isolated geographical entity with clearly demarcated, defensible borders. Shielded from the west by the Kirthar, Sulaiman and Safed Khor ranges, the northwest is guarded by the forbidding Hindu Kush mountain range and its continuation, the snow-bound Karakorams. Together, they cap the landmass whose entire northern boundary is formed by the vast mountain chain of the mighty Himalayas that effectively isolate the rest of the country from the Asian landmass. The expanse of the Indian Ocean laps the entire southern coastline. The Lakshadweep Islands in the Arabian Sea and the Andamans and Nicobar Island chain in the Bay of Bengal, serving as the country's seaward outposts. Towards the east, the country is separated from Myanmar by the north-south aligned chain of the Arakan Yoma and its northern extension, the Naga and Patkoi hills, that in turn merge into the eastern extremity of the Himalayas. India's history has been profoundly influenced by its environment and topography. Its geography has dictated political boundaries, social responses, and ethnic expansion. The 6,000-kilometer-long land border of the subcontinent takes us from the snow-covered through the forest-clad to the arid and bare. Since early in the 20th century, when the Wright brothers first took to the sky, aviation and air power have soared across the horizons into space. The last century in particular has witnessed the strategic emergence of air power as an extension of diplomacy or as an instrument of war. The manifestation of its potency and essence in the past decade was unprecedented. In the Persian Gulf War, the Bosnian air campaign, Kosovo, Kargil, or even Afghanistan. India lies in a difficult geopolitical environment and therefore has to maintain a high degree of strategic preparedness. National security and international stability are vital prerequisites for any nation's survival and prosperity. Assuring security and stability requires diplomacy, resources, vigilance, reach, and power. Vigilance to anticipate and deter threats, strategic reach to ensure credibility, and overwhelming power to prevail in conflicts and win India's future wars. Binding the diverse landmass of the subcontinent together, IAF's domain stretches from Indira Point in the Greater Nicobar Island to Indira Col, the northernmost point on the Siachen Glacier, in a seamless operational medium. Keeping critical lifelines open in some of the remotest corners of the world, the transport fleet of the Indian Air Force flies around the clock, operating a variety of aircraft optimized for extreme environments. The induction of the four-engine Illusion IL-76 has significantly enhanced the heavy airlift capability of the IAF's transport fleet. When required, they have flown in main battle tanks, infantry combat vehicles, heavy artillery and other bulk equipment. With an airlift capacity of 40 tons, these aircraft have airlifted entire infantry battalions with their equipment and frontline ammunition across the subcontinent in a matter of hours. The twin-engine AN-32s have been the standard medium tactical transport aircraft since the mid-80s. Capable of carrying a 5.5-ton payload of 40 paratroopers at a time, the AN-32 is the main workhorse of the IAF. For an army deployed across the length of the Himalaya and often beyond, the IAF is always on call to meet their air logistics requirements while the rest of the force trains, exercises and prepares for the full spectrum of operations. This airlift capability acts as a vital force multiplier for India's defense and paramilitary forces, making it possible to rapidly relocate troops, equipment and material from one theater of operations to another, sometimes thousands of kilometers apart.